Hey guys, it says we're live again, and this is our second week, first official week of our panel. And we are missing one of our members tonight, and some of you already know that Skipper's aquariums or aquatics, whichever way I say it's the wrong way. So Skipper's Aqua is having computer troubles and couldn't stream a while ago. He and Bobby couldn't. Bobby's doing fine, though. He's here, as you see. And Chattanooga Ed's here, of course. And we have our guest, Rob Johnson from Aquatic Aesthetics. So that's who the fourth guy is. Eric Furlow's going to fill in for Skipper, but he's going to be a few minutes late because we didn't ask until just a couple minutes before 8 if he could join us. So I'm trying to keep an outlook for him or look out for him. And the panel members are going to go through and thank people. I read the comment silently, privately to myself, not out loud. So let's go do that, guys, and we'll get started.
Okay. Scott's Aquatics, Scott's Aquatics, Max Aquatics, hello. Maria Z, hello. There
It
is
has no glasses.
Eric, hello.
Oh, you do.
Susie Q, hello. Patty, hello. Maria and Craig, hello. Patrick Hardy, hello. Greg the Guppy Guy, hello. Let's see here. Sandy Doughty, hello. We got Dan Slee, hello. And let's scroll down here.
We have Fancy Tales and Carrie from Science Gal. Did you say Fish Tonic was in the house? We also have... Oh, boy. Oh, Bob Steve Font is in the house. The other Bob.
Wow.
Oh,
Yep.
welcome,
Bringing in
Bob.
some big guys. And the Zen Amazing Ginger is in the house, too.
Awesome.
And we may have missed some people because we kind of jumped around. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's okay.
Carrie, there is Furlow, so he's probably one of the 4 people that shows that are backstage. So let me look real quick before we go any further. If he is, he's not there. No, he's not there. So you need a link, I guess, don't you, Eric? So that's all right, Eric. I'm not going to go through that again. So sorry. I had to ask you a couple hours ago to ask you how to do it. So sorry about that. We'll make it okay. Appreciate you, though. All right. Hey, Carol. Hey, Mike. And Fishy Mom. That's the last couple coming. Fancy Tail Aquatics. Thank you guys for reading that. Yeah, I know you do, Eric, but let me put it in chat. Hang on, guys.
Danikin, Cooper, Amy, Mississippi Hippie, and RB are also in the house. Oh, wow, and it just jumped.
It's doing that on me. Thank you, all you fantastic people, for coming in and hanging out with us. Hope everyone is having a great night. There is Griffin and George at Aquaballs Aquatics.
Susie Q is in the house. She is such a cool person. And I've got to try to get my cat off that thing. Come on,
over
buddy.
there trying to mod on her channel a while ago, but pretty good job. You don't like this at all, Rob. Sorry.
That everything I just said was Nico jumping around on my keyboard. Sorry, folks.
Right, there you go, Eric.
So you said that your cat is just adorable.
Well,
yeah,
he's upset.
Mississippi Hippie, hello.
This
I know
cat sleeps in his
are too, so nothing I can do about that.
should we get started? Rob, when did you get started into doing fish?
Oh God, that was probably when I was about 8 years old. My grandfather had an aquascape fish tank, and we're talking about the 70s here, and not many people did that. But it just fascinated me seeing that tank, just with all the long stem plants in there and the tiger barbs swimming around everywhere. So that just kind of set me in motion, and well, pretty much been had a fish tank or lived in a fish tank the whole time, being United States Navy or 12 years that I lived on a houseboat. Couldn't have a fish tank then, but kind of lived in one.
You're in the reverse. Well, that's awesome. When in your life did you decide you were going to try to do a fish store?
Oh, that was actually about 4 months before we opened.
Oh, wow. This is pretty cool.
Yeah. I always knew I wanted my own business. I was sick of making another man rich and just constantly, okay, well, what can it be? What can it be? And it was right in front of me the whole time. I was getting so frustrated with having to drive across the river to the other side of town to get to the fish stores. And our area of town was or I guess you'd call it a fish store desert, other than the big box stores. There wasn't a single LFS here. So I finally said, if no one else is going to do it, fine, I'll do it. My wife and I came across a little bit of a nest egg, and it helped pave the way. We invested our money and opened up the store back in July of 2019. So we've got just a few months, and we're at our 2-year anniversary.
That's awesome.
And it's been a resounding success.
That's awesome. I really appreciate having you a lot.
Thanks for telling us about you a little bit, Rob. Well, I was trying to get situated here, and I hear you all cutting in and out, so it's probably on my end. So let's go ahead and go to our format, and that's Rob talking about what our topic originally was, and he kind of brought in a little, right, was of the local fish store owner, whether that's from getting fish, doing special orders, supporting the customer, asking them what they have, what they're looking for, making sure fish are be okay, and he does a whole lot of education. I hear it firsthand. People call in when they're having problems, just like we ask in the streams, what you guys think about this. So I wanted him to talk about that something. How COVID has affected fish keeping and his hobby and his work. So that's a whole lot to cover. So if you want to go ahead and talk about it, then if it's okay, we will jump in, those of us on the panel. Occasionally, I want to ask 30 questions each, but guess what? Keep it moving. There's no trouble educating and talking, so he's great. So, at the end, open it up to that. Or if he has occasional questions throughout, we can ask that as well. Does that sound okay with everybody?
Honestly, Bob, we had a really hard time understanding what you were saying. You're cutting out so much. I'm so sorry.
Well, I wish somebody had told me that before I took 5 minutes.
Well, we all love you. We didn't want to upset you or anything. But
I know what it is. Rob, do you remember what we talked about? We did in writing.
Yeah, I've got a general idea of where we're wanting to go with it.
Hear you all either, just as you can hear me. I can't hear you either.
Well, essentially what Bob was going towards.
You want to go ahead and start talking about the topics, Rob?
Yeah. Essentially what Bob was going towards was kind of the first off the screening process of when I've got a customer that comes in. First off, are they experienced? That's the first thing I want to know. And sometimes it involves some pretty elementary questions that in some cases might upset an experienced fish keeper, but when they realize that as soon as they say something that makes me realize their experience, then that kind of changes where I have to go. Are y'all hearing me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
We can hear you.
Hey, Bob, I hate to say this to you, but could you just mute yours for a second to see if that stops the breaking up?
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff going on in the background.
We hear a whole lot of static. Okay, now say something.
I think what's going on with Bob's is he's getting audio feedback. That's probably what's going on. Bob, you can probably turn your volume down a little, and maybe that'll help. But back to the subject at hand. So the first thing I want to know is how experienced are they? I get a general idea just within the first question or two. I can pretty much tell, do they know anything about fish? Is this their first tank? And then I've got to correct some issues almost immediately. All of them caused by Petco and PetSmart. They've got the tank sitting in the back seat of their car, and they're doing the smart thing. They're going to the local fish store and they're going to buy the fish. And I've got to be the one to break it to them that that's not going to work. Fortunately, nowadays we have things such as Turbo Start by Fritz, which I'm not they don't sponsor me. I just sell their product. But I tell you what, you can cycle a tank in 24 hours. So if I'm able to convince them of making one more purchase before they do their fish, then I can get them going. Other things we run into a lot of sickness and disease. Now, I'm kind of torn there in how I respond. I'm not a veterinarian. I can't give veterinary advice technically. So I've got to be real careful in how I handle things. But they can show me a picture and I can show them a picture on my computer or my phone and say, well, this looks like this. So they're saying it's ick. So I can point them to the right location and say, well, this box says that it will treat ick, or this one says it will treat fungus. So I've just got to be real careful in how I direct people. Not that I've heard of anybody getting in trouble for it, but all it takes is one person complaining, and the state comes in and says, hey, this is a charge we can go after. That's one of the issues we run into, and a lot of it is I just kind of have to direct people to the natural way to do a tank. Meaning water changes. Stay on top of getting that nitrate out before it builds up. Don't just sit there and keep pouring prime in, trying to detoxify that stuff. It doesn't work that way. I have so many of my customers that they want the medicine to fix it. When it comes to nitrate, there's no medicine to fix that. That it is only you can fix that. And getting that across to people that they have to do their maintenance on their tank, a routine maintenance. That's kind of rough. At the same time, I also have other avenues I can direct them towards, such as doing a planted tank. With a planted tank, you get the right balance of plants to fish. You're not changing water. You're not needing to. Your nitrates are being consumed as they're produced, and you've got a proper ecosphere, if you want to call it. And yeah, that's kind of where I try to direct people towards.
I love how you have a lot of different plants in your fish store. Was that something that you were planning on when you originally opened, was to be a major plant supplier?
Certainly, in a way. What really got the store going was me watching the videos and on YouTube, people like James Finley doing the ADA aquascape tanks. I was fascinated by the work they were doing and pouring all their base soils and the microbacter and all the different things they're putting down. And then I looked, where can I find this stuff? I'm like, I can't. The ADA soils I could order online, shipped from California. Well, that kind of set me down a little bit of a rabbit hole. Well, what if we ran a store that we could do this? And that led to the whole aquascaping. I looked into the ADA. No one's going to pay the price for the stuff they sell, at least not here in Chattanooga. If we were in Atlanta, absolutely, I could make that work. Chattanooga, it's just not the market for it. It's like trying to sell $1,000 saltwater fish. You might find one or two buyers in town that are interested in that fish. And it better be tax time or swimulus. But the Atlanta market, certainly, that'd certainly go, but it won't go here.
Rob, since I'm so I can't really hear what you're saying. You post it there at the bottom of the screen, and there is one there. Can you see it?
Okay, yeah, I see it there. There's only one that I haven't tried. Tim's one, excuse me, the one and only. The Fritz, I started with that. They provided me with the refrigerator and allowed me to carry it. And I've heard Dr. Tim. I've watched his at the conference, at the Magna conference, watched his dissertation he gave all about the cycling. I probably watched that thing about 4 or 5 times. There was that much information provided. I highly recommend you hunt that down on YouTube. It's about a 30-minute video of him just talking about cycling, mainly saltwater. But he talks about his product, which still at that point I was already using Fritz. And I learned a lot more about the cycle from that conference, which actually changed the way I use the Fritz Turbo Start, the way I use ammonia, which is the Dr. Tim's ammonia, by the way. I use his product for that. And I get a tank cycled in 24 hours. 20-gallon tank. I can place my fish order, add the water to it, add the Turbo Start and the ammonia, and 24 hours later the fish arrive. I put them in the tank. 50 guppies in a 20-gallon tank. and not a single ammonia spike. With a little CChem ammonia badge hanging right there in the tank. Watching them close and never had an issue. This 125 behind me, I just cycled it. Now that one took about 4 days, and quite a bit of turbo start. What would have cost a normal person at least $75 at my store to buy the 16-ounce bottle. But it did it in 4 days, not 24. But as far as the Tim's stuff, just haven't had it yet. Haven't had a reason to try it. It's kind of like going to the best pizza place in town and ordering wings. I've already found something that works, and I actually really love this stuff.
So I had a question. Oh,
No, go ahead. I was hoping I could show one of the Fritz Turbo Start bottles. I had one right next to me that I bought from Rob, but I can't find it. Go for it, Furlow.
yeah. I was gonna ask, like, being a fish store owner, and it's something I've wanted, it's something I've thought of doing, but I always worry, like, if I had a fish store, you know, like, does the hobby feel more like a chore to you because it's your work and at home, or like how does that work for you?
You know, that is something I was discussing with Andrew, my employee today, my assistant manager. He's been a godsend, by the way. I know he's probably probably watching. But I kind of mentioned the fail that I see happen with fish store owners, and I started seeing it happening with me. And that was getting too involved with the business and forgetting that you're a hobbyist.
Right.
This tank behind me is my reminder that I'm a hobbyist. I picked it up last Monday, got it used. So Lord knows I can't buy a 125 right now. I wish I could, brand new. I own a store and I can't buy it.
Right.
But got a good deal on a used one, and here I go. Got 3 Oscars, 2 Severums, a Beischer, and a Placo.
Nice.
2 of the Oscars were mine to begin with. The rest are all store rescues.
Sounds like my kind of tank right there.
But the big thing is the store owners, they need to get back into the hobby. Locally, we're lucky. We have myself. We also have Ethan over at Fish Mania. He's brand new, so I doubt he's burned out yet, and I hope it doesn't happen to him. But I can see easily where that can happen.
Right.
I started seeing it happen with me. Just, you do, like people say, the cobbler's kids have no shoes.
Right.
You come home from work with dealing with fish tanks all day long, and you look at your fish tanks and say, well, I'm not done now. Still got more to do. So yeah, that can drain it out of you. But I'm getting it back again, and I'm glad to have these guys again.
Yeah, I was just asking that because, like, I own a home improvement business, and it's like I go out and fix everybody else's house every day, and I don't want to come home and work on mine. So I'm just wondering, it was the same for like a fish store owner versus a hobbyist.
Yes, absolutely. You just have to stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Well, Rob, I'm sorry, Bob. We just can't understand you.
Oh yeah. The question.
That is selling online is definitely something I am looking at. However, I found out some issues that I'm running into, and this probably kind of lead into another issue, and that's the supply line. in order for me to sell some of these items, I do. Half the time when I go to order just to stock the store, I have a problem getting them. Much less to sell at the level of online, which in time I would assume would first double the store sales, then soon after tenfold. Getting those supply lines established first is critical to me. So that's one where I'm in with my suppliers, talking to them, and it's hard to get a guarantee on a product and say, well, can you keep this many if I can't guarantee that I'll buy them. So first I have to get established like that, and probably upset some people as I run out of stock. And then the more I order and the more sales I have, give me the confidence, I guess you'd say, to go ahead and set up a contract with a company to hold a base level that I would guarantee, let's say, a 50% purchase of in a year. So yeah, that is the critical part that I see that I need to do, which I just don't think is the time right now. COVID has locked up quite a bit. I know a lot of people think that store owners are kind of using this as an excuse to raise their prices and lower their stocking levels. Well, guys, I can tell you right now, as a brand new store owner who wants to stock his store, I can't get these things. I cannot get glass. I can get you a 20 gallon, I can get you a 29, I can get you a 55 and a 40 breeder. That's it. Anything bigger than that, I go to my supplier, a 125. They show me how many they have on order. Six for the whole country.
Oh,
is it
keepers.
Them not ordering it, or is it the manufacturer not making it? That's the big question. And the thing is, this supplier owns Aquatic. So I don't think it's a matter of them not ordering. I think it's a whole supply issue when it comes to the plastic frames, the silicone, the glass, the labor. On top of that, what a lot of people don't realize is the aquarium store business has boomed with COVID. So you have 20% more, if not 25% more people in the hobby who first thing they did is start buying tanks. They were off work. They couldn't go back to work. They wanted to do a tank all this time, and now they had all this time on their hand to do it. So they've done it, and then they came down with the same thing all of us do, MTS, multiple tank syndrome. Now they're buying tanks again. So it's really, and then when you add on top of that the reduced production with some of these places, some of them probably still shut down. I know Aquatic really has cut production just because of labor. So on top of production getting cut, a very high increase in demand, glass tanks have just gone to nothing. Trying to order Fluval products. I'll place an order with Hagen, who is the owner of Fluval. I'll place an order with them. 45 days later, I get my order, or part of it. So it's real hard on a fish store to keep this stuff in stock. I wish I had a warehouse and the capital and the pre-existing knowledge of what was to come, and I would have been totally stocked. But there's just no way a fish store can do all that. But COVID is, even though, yeah, it has been a booming market, it's just, you can't get stuff. And where I've kind of done the difference is I don't really sell big tanks. I'll sell little systems. I don't sell lights. I don't sell protein skimmers. I sell just the basic line of the Tidal hang-on back filters. I heavily push sponge filters. But it is real hard to compete with Petco, PetSmart, Amazon, Walmart.com. So why tie up that real estate selling those things when lights, for instance, okay, you stock 3 different brands at 4 different sizes on each brand, and you might sell 3 of each brand a year. You're just tying up too much space. Get rid of that stuff. Find something else to put in there that people need. And that's kind of what I've specialized in, is keeping up with the trends. The sponge filters was the biggest thing. I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure I was one of the first ones in town carrying sponge filters. And I did it from the start. If anyone did, I would say it would have been Chiral at Fishmania. But I seriously doubt that's something that would have been sold at Bermuda. But it's just trying to carry those products that aren't going to sell. You're just breaking your wallet, breaking the bank, and letting everything just get dusty on your shelves.
I bet I really appreciate you having those sponge filters. I bet I've bought 40 or 50 of them myself.
Oh, I know you have.
I've really appreciated it quite a bit. There was a time when you couldn't find sponge filters in stores because, people wanted you to keep buying this recycled, things you have to constantly buy to recycle it. So I really appreciate that about you. How do you deal with local breeders? Do you allow people to bring fish in? Like you said, you have rescues, but what about like if somebody has a bunch of fry? Do you trade or purchase, or do you deal with local stuff?
Yes, I do. We heavily promote local breeders if we can. I buy quite a bit local. A lot of times you'll go into my store. You've seen all the unboxings. Well, none of the unboxings, or none of the other fish will you see in an unboxing. So you may come in and, for example, right now I've got 600 endlers brought to me by a local breeder that went in that new stand I just built. And what I try to do is give them the same rate I would pay my distributors. If they're in it for a business, what kind of business is it of me to just really jack off that, or oh god, that was awful, really take off that price and offer them a quarter of fish when I would have paid $1.25 to my distributor, only to turn around and sell that for $5, and they look at it, they sold me a fish for a quarter, and they see it in my tank for sale for $5. I see that being an issue.
Yep, I think that's wonderful that you do that. Do you have anything, Furlow or Bob?
Oh, I'm trying to think. I I know some people say you can do it and some people can't, but how do you feel about plants with African cichlids?
Toys. That's what they are. To cichlids, they're toys. Get you something like maybe an Anubias, something with a tough leaf, glue it to a small piece of lava rock, and just let them move it around the tank wherever they want to move it. If you glue it to a large piece, they're just going to rip it up.
Yeah.
But if it's glued to a small piece and they go to grab it and it moves with them, they're just going to take it where they want. With African cichlids or pretty much any cichlid, it's their tank, not yours.
Oh yeah.
They are going to decorate it how they like.
Yeah.
And if they see that plant and they don't want it there, they're going to rip it right out of the substrate and try to carry it over where they do want it. And as soon as they let go, it floats right up to the top.
Absolutely. Yeah. I just did a water change on mine today, and I straightened out all the gravel, and there's already craters in there. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm aware of how they like to party in their tanks.
Yeah.
But,
in fact,
no, go ahead.
today I just took to the store. In fact, already sold it to one of my real good customers. It was a Madagascar lace that was from bulb to leaf tip about 30 inches.
Wow.
Leaves easily that wide, 6 to 8 inches wide. And I would have had that in this tank behind me if I thought I could. But because it was just a gigantic. But with them going in, it had to. It couldn't go in there. But yeah, plants and cichlids, got it. It's a dream. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't think it's something I'd ever do. I've talked to a lot of people, like probably half and half. People that say they've done it and done it successessly, and then other people are saying, and some other people saying like what you're saying is they're all they're going to do is play with it.
Yeah, some people have succeeded, and some cichlids. It depends on the exact fish, not a particular species.
Right.
Every fish has its own personality. 90% of them are going to be of the personality that they're going to rip it up. Mm-hmm. But you do have that 10% that, you can manage that with. But when you're talking about a community tank, all it takes is one to pull on it, and then the others start pulling too.
Yeah. Agreed.
I just want to thank some of the super chatters since Bob's not able to. We really appreciate it a lot. Bob donates all the super chat money to the ARC, which is a dog and cat shelter in Cleveland, Tennessee. It's a super organization, and we really appreciate it a lot. Danikin at Danikin Aquatic says, great stream, Bob and brothers. He's awesome. And Rob met Danikin when he came into town. Kenny E. And he comes up right after us. Yep. Oh my gosh, in 15 minutes. And Xanadudu says, great topic, great stream, really great information. Thank you all. Episode Rob, Aquatic Aesthetics. Great store name, too, by the way. Thank you, Xdo. We really appreciate it a lot, guys. Oh, okay, we just moved around again.
Now we totally lost Bob, and I'm like way close to the screen.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm like trying to look really close to see what people are saying. Well, we've got 15 minutes. I know one of the things that Rob wanted to talk about was our local fish club in Chattanooga. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that, Rob?
I know a little bit about it. I've been to one of their meetings. They've several of the members and the very active members have been in my store a few times. It's called Chattanooga Area Aquatic Society, and it's on Facebook is their main meeting place. They do a lot of online swaps of fish and trading of plants. However, if you don't do that on the Facebook site. They have a separate site for doing the animal sales. But they're really trying to get this thing going, and I'm just trying to give them a little bit of extra push and let people know in town that there is an aquatics club here. Ed, they're nowhere near the level of what you'd like to see yet, but I
understand.
I think you and I could help push them there.
That'd be awesome. Just let me know, and I'll buy lunch, and we'll try to get Bob there too, because I'm sure Bob's already went. I don't know if it was the same group or not, but Bob went to a couple of the meetings when they're like at a coffee cafe type thing. When real early. Bob said that he had to go. Wait, sorry, Bobby. Maybe he came back up. Okay. Bob said that he had to leave the stream because he can't hear a word. Doggone it. Sorry, Bob. Okay. Well, Rob, did you have any influence on setting up your store? Like, did you just do this all on your own, or did you go out and ask for any help, or want to say thanks to anybody, or anything like that? Or
you're freezing up on us.
Oh, no, I'm freezing up.
Not to me or not.
Okay, or was it just me?
It might have just been you because you're
okay. It may have just been my connection, but it looks like you're doing better now.
Yeah, Rob.
Okay.
Your picture's a little blurry, so it might be you.
Well, did you have any outside? It's an amazing beard too. Did you have any outside influences on helping you set up your tank, or I mean your fish store, or did you just plan it out and go with it?
A lot of that broke up, but I think I got your question. Am I coming through okay, or?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So yeah, outside influence, not really. I had help with a very good friend of mine, James Decker, who really helped get the store going. Did a lot of the building of the initial racks we used, some of which are still there. One of which is in your place, Ed. In fact, Bob's got the other half of it. Those were all built by James. He's got his own company now, Nano to Reefs. He's doing consulting and building of aquarium displays. The latest ones he's been doing are caimans, big caiman cages. But he was a great help at getting things going and getting us established. And was there all the way up into the point and further, but until I left my career and went full time at getting the store opened up and ready. But yeah, without him, we wouldn't be where we're at now.
Bob Kaler says that the meetings are now being held in Ottawa, which is like kind of a suburb of Chattanooga. What does... Oh, probably YouTube is the second best half of that. I don't know. Sorry, Bob. I'm missing it. And everybody, we also want to recommend that Bob has memberships, and he would love to, that anybody would love to support Bob. He would love that too, and he appreciates everybody that has been supporting him all this time too. We really appreciate that. Well, and Rob is an amazing carpenter himself. Burlo, I don't know if you've seen in like his videos, but he has made some awesome racks and systems. Like he has the Corey setup, like how the tanks just go on just the edges on two of his walls, and then he's like built some beautiful like racks, or would it be shelves or racks? I don't know, but it's awesome, Rob.
I'm gonna
Really
check
good.
it out.
I would consider that a rack. It holds, yeah, one of them holds, let's see, six, 10 gallons across the bottom, then two 20-gallon longs, and then on top of those, two 20-gallon longs. That's the 6-foot system. The 4-foot system holds 4 10 gallons on the bottom, and then two 10 gallons by two 10 gallons. And just a wonderful setup that was just, I can't say by chance, but was stuck in my head, and I had to figure out how to get it out of my head and into an actual 3-dimensional product, and just built the first one right before we opened, and it was beautiful. So
Awesome.
when I just did this last rack, I decided, okay, well, let's copy that one, and it worked out perfect.
And Bob wanted me to advise the chat that he is still here. He's just in the chat, not up on the panel. So. But yeah, I'll have to go check out some of the videos because I love geeking out over other people's the way they build stands and their carpentry work and stuff. So.
Well, and Rob has a really good YouTube channel that you guys all ought to check out. Last month, he did a video every day last month, and I really enjoyed that. I miss it, Rob. I wish you'd start doing that again.
I don't know. I'll do that one again.
What is your YouTube channel? Is it Aquatic Aesthetics? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go over there right now.
And
Us,
Andrew, also one of his managers there, he has a channel now too, and he has an amazing. Has he made any more videos than the one? Rob?
I don't know if he has yet. I know that he's got kind of a little bit of a surprise in for us, but I won't reveal that.
Bob didn't leave. He's still in chat. So you guys can ask Bob anything, and he's here.
Yep.
Awesome. I wasn't for sure what other things that you and Bob wanted to talk about. Did we cover a lot of it, or?
I'm sorry, ask that one more time.
I don't know if we covered everything that you and Bob talked about. Is there anything that we missed?
I think the only other part he had mentioned was kind of the follow-up, which is something I do with a lot of the customers when you try to remember customers, but when you deal with 30, 40, 50 people a day with very, very similar issues, it all bleeds together by the next morning. So you kind of, as a customer comes in, you got to get them to tell you details, not just remember me, I came in, bought the 2 guppies, and I showed you the picture on my phone. Okay, well, that describes half my customers. So trying to remember, but once they give me enough details, kind of trigger that memory, then it gets me going where I need to be and able to, I guess you'd say, follow up with how well they are doing with the instructions I gave them before, be it a water change, running ICX or something like that. And making sure that if they used antibacterial or an antibiotic, something like erythromycin, that they've checked their cycle and verified that the cycle is still good. So that's part of a lot of what I have to do in the follow-up, and just make sure they're happy with us and with what we sell them. If they're not happy with what I sold them, then I'm doing something wrong. either that or they just may not be wanting to stick around in the hobby in the first place. And you just kind of got to fill people out and figure out where they want to go. And if you can keep them in, we certainly try to keep them in the hobby. Do whatever it takes to keep them happy. And sometimes it means replacing a fish that they may have put into a tank with pure ammonia, just to keep them happy and keep them from giving up.
Well, we've got 3 minutes left. Danikin's next. And we want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you so much for all the mods here too, and thank you Furlough for coming up. And it's a bummer that all of our team broke down tonight, but next week we'll iron out all the wrinkles and we'll get it back on track. Would you want to go? Do you have any crazy stories that we can go out on, that you'd want to share with us?
I'm sorry, I may have lost every bit of that audio you just said.
Oh, bummer. Do you have any crazy stories that you would like to tell us right before we shut down for the night?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of them. I guess the craziest. Yeah. Here's one. This one happened last weekend. I got a phone call and I answered just like normal. Thank you for calling Aquatic Aesthetics. This is Rob. And the immediate answer was, my drowned. And I was, your fish drowned? Yeah, my fish drowned. And I thought it was a joke. Well, his fish had jumped out of the water. And so he thought since we drowned in the water that his fish drowned in the air. That's a big one. Another big one we get on the phone, particularly at least 3 times a week. They want to know how much a mission is. How much does it cost to get in? Because if you Google Chattanooga Aquarium, the very first thing that pops up is Aquatic Aesthetics. However, the aquarium in Chattanooga is called the Tennessee Aquarium. It just happens to be in Chattanooga. So that's another big one that happens. And another one, I had someone bring me a water sample, and this was salt water. So a lot of people are gonna kind of get lost in these numbers, but I tested the magnesium at 1500 off the scale, the calcium off the scale, alkalinity off the scale, and it's just what is going on? And then I tested the salinity. They had more salt in there than you would have in a brine shrimp hatchery, or than what you would brine stuff in. And it was at about 1.050. And what it was is every time the water evaporated, they're topping off with salt water.
Oh, and it was
and
never leaving the system.
Yeah, they just kept adding more and more and more salt. But yeah, there's all kinds of crazy stuff we've seen in there.
Thank you so much, Jess, the Shrimp Granny, for joining as a member to the live. She's now a live bear.
Welcome to the club.
And here comes Bob. I'm pretty sure. Yep, here he is.
All right, just in time to close it out.
I don't think you guys can hear me yet. Is it still
Yeah,
Chuck?
we got you.
Oh, okay.
A little bit, not bad.
Coming in better than it was before.
Thank you, Rob, for coming on, and thank you, Eric, for pinch hitting for us. Ed, thank you for stepping up and taking over. Awesome job. Bobby, sorry I couldn't get back over here to bring you back up, but thank you for staying over in YouTube with us too. And we will go over to Kenny's now. Thank you, moderators and members. Oh, God. The most important people. Thank you, guys. And sorry, I don't know what was going on. It seems like it's fixed now. Go figure.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can
Bummer.
get notifications from StreamYard. Last time they wanted to do a fix and they got it fixed, so maybe there's something. But yeah, what Chevy Fish is saying there. And yeah, the hashtag, thanks, Ginger, for reminding me, is Nightmare. You guys did an awesome job. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about as it being my stream and pretty much everything except me running a tank over because I was doing water changes, but I did turn it off. Has gone wrong the last hour that could. So I appreciate everybody for hanging in there and great presentation. I'll go back and listen to it all, Rob. So, and as I'm gonna close it out like Rob does. I'll see you at the store.
Awesome.
See you at the store.
And if you guys want to hang out for a minute, I'm going to, but don't feel like you need to. Thanks, everybody. See you over at Kenny's.